I trusted her. I trusted every word she said. 3 weeks ago, my wife Elizabeth passed away in her sleep. My daughter-in-law Jennifer told me our home health aide Rosa had given her the wrong medication. I believed Jennifer completely. After all, she was family. She was my son's wife, the mother of my grandchildren. Why would she lie? I called the police. I watched as they handcuffed Rosa and led her away in tears. She kept saying, "Mr. Patterson, please, I would never hurt Mrs. Elizabeth." But I turned my back on her. I was too consumed by grief and anger to listen. 4 days after the funeral, my neighbor Harold knocked on my front door holding a thumb drive. What he showed me on that tiny piece of plastic destroyed everything I thought I knew about my family. Let me start from the beginning. Elizabeth and I had been married for 42 years. We raised 2 sons in our home in Riverside, California. Our youngest, Marcus, still lived nearby with his wife Jennifer and their 2 kids, 8-year-old Tyler and 6-year-old Emma. Our older son, Daniel, worked overseas and visited maybe once a year. 2 years ago, Elizabeth was diagnosed with early-onset Alzheimer's. At first, it was small things. She'd forget where she put her keys, repeat the same question twice in one conversation. But it progressed faster than we expected. Within 18 months, she needed help with daily activities, getting dressed, taking her medications. Sometimes she didn't recognize our own home. I tried to care for her myself. I really did. But I'm 73 years old, and I have arthritis in both knees and a bad back from 40 years working construction. Lifting Elizabeth when she fell, helping her in and out of the shower, staying up all night when she got confused and tried to leave the house. It was destroying my own health. Marcus suggested we hire someone. "Dad, you're going to kill yourself trying to do this alone," he said. "Let us find a professional caregiver, someone who knows how to handle Alzheimer's patients." Jennifer volunteered to handle the search. "I'll find someone perfect, Dad," she assured me. "Someone trustworthy and experienced. You deserve a break." She came back 2 weeks later with Rosa Hernandez. Rosa was a 52-year-old certified nursing assistant from El Salvador who'd been working in elder care for 15 years. She had excellent references, a warm smile, and a gentle way of speaking that immediately put Elizabeth at ease. "Mrs. Elizabeth," Rosa said during their first meeting, pronouncing it the Spanish way. "I'm going to take good care of you. We're going to be friends." Elizabeth smiled, one of her rare clear moments. "You have kind eyes," she said. Rosa started coming 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. I stayed in the house most of the time, watching how she worked. She was incredible, patient when Elizabeth got frustrated, creative in getting her to eat when she refused meals. She'd sing old songs from the 50s that somehow Elizabeth still remembered, and my wife would light up like a girl again. Rosa kept detailed notes about everything. Elizabeth's mood, her appetite, when she took her medications, any changes in behavior. She showed me the notebook every evening. "Transparency is important, Mr. Patterson," she said. "You should always know exactly what happens with your wife." Jennifer came by often during those first few months, at least 3 times a week, sometimes more. She'd bring the kids to see their grandmother. Marcus was working long hours at his accounting firm, often staying late or traveling for clients. So Jennifer said she had plenty of free time. "I want to be involved in Mom's care," she told me. "She's not just your wife. She's my children's grandmother. We're family." I appreciated it, or at least I thought I did. Looking back now, I see things differently. Jennifer always seemed more interested in watching Rosa than in actually spending time with Elizabeth. She'd ask questions, lots of questions. "What medications is she on now, Rosa? Who has access to her medicine cabinet? Dad, do you keep important documents in the house, bank information, life insurance? Has Rosa ever been alone with your financial paperwork?" At the time, I thought she was just being thorough, concerned. Now I understand she was planning something. About 6 months into Rosa's employment, Jennifer started dropping little comments. Nothing too obvious at first, just small seeds of doubt. "Dad, I noticed some of Mom's jewelry isn't in her usual box. Her pearl necklace. Have you seen it?" I hadn't. Elizabeth hadn't worn jewelry in months. I figured she'd moved it somewhere during one of her confused episodes. Rosa was looking at it last week, Jennifer said casually. She mentioned how beautiful it was. Another time, Dad, your bank statement was sitting on the kitchen counter yesterday when I came by. You should probably keep those locked up. You never know who might see them. The implication was clear. Rosa might see them. Rosa might steal. Rosa's been nothing but honest, I said defensively. I'm sure you're right, Jennifer said quickly. I'm just saying, you can't be too careful. You don't really know her, do you? She could have lied on her resume. These agencies don't always do thorough background checks. Then Marcus started having problems at work. He mentioned it over dinner one Sunday, about 4 months before Elizabeth died. My biggest client is threatening to leave, he said, looking exhausted. If I lose them, the firm might let me go. The new partners are looking for any excuse. Jennifer squeezed his hand. We'll figure it out, honey. But I noticed she looked worried. Very worried. 2 weeks later, Jennifer brought it up again when she stopped by alone. Marcus is so stressed, she said. We've got the kids' private school tuition, the mortgage, car payments. If he loses this job, we don't know what we'll do. She paused, then added carefully, I know you and Mom have been careful with money over the years. You have that life insurance policy, right? The one you mentioned when Mom got sick? Something about the way she said it made me uncomfortable, but I answered anyway. Yes, we have a policy. $500,000. It'll help cover final expenses and leave something for you boys. That's good, Jennifer said. That's really good. At least we know Mom will be taken care of, no matter what. I should have heard the calculation in her voice, but I didn't. 3 months before Elizabeth died, things started disappearing. Small amounts at first. I noticed $50 missing from my wallet, then $100. I thought I was misremembering how much cash I had. Then my bank called. There had been ATM withdrawals from my account. $300 taken out at a machine near the grocery store I never went to. I was confused. I had my ATM card. How could someone be using it? Jennifer was visiting when the bank called. She was sitting right there in the kitchen when I hung up. What's wrong, Dad? I explained about the withdrawals. Her eyes widened. Oh no, Dad. Does Rosa know where you keep your wallet? In my bedroom. But does she ever go in there alone? To clean, maybe? I thought about it. Rosa did sometimes straighten up our bedroom when Elizabeth was napping. She could have copied down your card number, Jennifer said urgently, or figured out your PIN by watching you. Dad, these are classic signs. I've read about caregivers doing this to elderly clients. Rosa wouldn't. You don't know that. Jennifer's voice was sharp, then she softened it. I'm sorry. I know you trust her. But we have to be realistic. She has access to everything. Your cards, your documents, Mom's medications. And you said yourself that some of Mom's jewelry is missing. I wanted to defend Rosa, but the doubt was planted. The next day, I changed my PIN and started keeping my wallet in a locked drawer. I felt terrible about it, like I was betraying Rosa's trust. But I told myself I was just being cautious. The withdrawals stopped after that. At the time, I thought it confirmed Jennifer's suspicions. Now I know why they really stopped. Elizabeth's health declined rapidly in her final 3 months. She stopped recognizing me most days. She'd look at me like I was a stranger and ask for her mother, who'd been dead for 30 years. Rosa was there through all of it, holding Elizabeth's hand, singing to her, making sure she was comfortable. Mr. Patterson, Rosa said to me one evening, tears in her eyes. I want you to know it's been an honor caring for your Elizabeth. She's a beautiful soul. Thank you, I managed to say. I don't know what I would have done without you. Marcus was almost never around during this time. His work crisis had gotten worse. Jennifer said he was working 16-hour days trying to save his job. She came by instead, always watching, always asking questions. Has Rosa been giving Mom the right dosages of her medications? Does Rosa ever seem nervous or evasive? You're in the will, right, Dad? I mean, you're the primary beneficiary of Mom's life insurance? That last question bothered me. But Jennifer explained, I just want to make sure everything is in order, for legal purposes. Marcus and I are just worried about you. 2 weeks before Elizabeth died, Jennifer came over while Rosa was out getting groceries. She asked to see Elizabeth's medication schedule. I just want to double-check everything, she said. Make sure Rosa isn't making any mistakes. I showed her the detailed chart Rosa maintained. Every medication, every dosage, every time administered. It was meticulous. Jennifer studied it for a long time. Dad, I think some of these dosages look wrong. Rosa went over everything with the doctor, I said. I know, but look at this one. She pointed to Elizabeth's blood pressure medication. This seems high, too high. If someone gave her too much of this, it could be really dangerous. The doctor prescribed it. Are you sure Rosa isn't adjusting the doses herself? Maybe making notes that don't match what she's actually giving, Mom? The suspicion in her voice made me defensive. Jennifer, Rosa has been nothing but professional. I trust her. Okay, Jennifer said, backing off. Okay. I just worry. We all just want what's best for Mom. On the Tuesday before Elizabeth died, Rosa called me in a panic. Mr. Patterson, I need to talk to you. Something very important. What's wrong? Not on the phone. When I come tomorrow. Please. She sounded scared. But when she arrived the next morning, Jennifer was already there. Rosa saw her, and her face went pale. Is everything all right? I asked Rosa. She glanced at Jennifer, then back at me. Yes, Mr. Patterson, everything is fine. I'm sorry I worried you. But it wasn't fine. I could see it in her eyes. She wanted to tell me something but couldn't with Jennifer there. I planned to ask her about it later, when we were alone, but I never got the chance. Elizabeth died that Friday night. Rosa had finished her shift at 6. I was alone with Elizabeth, watching television while she slept in her recliner. Around 9, I checked on her and realized she wasn't breathing. The paramedics came. They tried to revive her, but she was gone. The initial assessment was that she'd died peacefully from complications of Alzheimer's. Her heart had simply stopped. I called Marcus. He and Jennifer rushed over. Jennifer was crying, hugging me, saying all the right things about how Elizabeth was at peace now. The next morning, Rosa called. She was sobbing so hard she could barely speak. Mr. Patterson, I just heard. I'm so sorry. Mrs. Elizabeth was such a special lady. Please, if there's anything I can do, thank you, Rosa. I'll let you know about the funeral arrangements. Jennifer was there when I hung up. Was that Rosa? I nodded. Did she seem, I don't know, guilty? Guilty? She's grieving. I know, Dad. I know. Jennifer sat down next to me. There's something I need to tell you. I didn't want to say anything while Mom was alive, but now. She took a deep breath. I think Rosa might have been stealing from you. From both of you. What are you talking about? The money from your ATM. Mom's missing jewelry. And Dad, I saw Rosa looking through your desk last week, when she thought no one was watching. I didn't say anything because I wasn't sure, but now, with Mom gone so suddenly, Elizabeth died from Alzheimer's complications. Did she, though? Jennifer's voice dropped. Dad, what if Rosa gave her the wrong medication? What if it was intentional? She knew about the life insurance. She had access to all of Mom's medications. And now, conveniently, Mom is gone, and we can't prove anything. That's a horrible thing to suggest. I know it is. But Dad, we have to consider it. Rosa was the last person to give Mom her medications yesterday before her shift ended. What if she gave Mom too much of something? What if this wasn't natural causes? I wanted to dismiss it completely. But the seed of doubt Jennifer had been planting for months had taken root. The missing money, the missing jewelry, and Elizabeth's sudden death, even though the doctor said it was expected. What do you think I should do? Talk to the police, Jennifer said firmly. Just report your concerns. Let them investigate. If Rosa is innocent, she has nothing to worry about. But if she's not, Dad, we need to know the truth. Marcus arrived later that day. He looked devastated, and I wondered if Jennifer had already told him her theory. Dad, he said, his voice heavy. Jennifer told me about her concerns, about Rosa. I think she might be right. I've always had a weird feeling about her. That was a lie. Marcus had barely interacted with Rosa. He was never around. But he was backing up his wife's story. We should protect you, Marcus continued. If Rosa did something to Mom, she could come after you next. For money or to cover her tracks. The idea terrified me. I was vulnerable, alone now. If Rosa was capable of murder, I called the police. Detective Sarah Morrison came to my house that evening. She was a middle-aged woman with sharp eyes and a calm demeanor. I explained everything: the missing money, the jewelry, Jennifer's concerns about the medications. And you believe your home health aide may have caused your wife's death? I don't know, I said honestly. But my daughter-in-law thinks it's possible. Where is your daughter-in-law now? She's running errands with my son. But she said she'd be happy to give a statement. Jennifer came back an hour later. She sat with Detective Morrison and me, her face serious. I've been worried about this for a while, Jennifer said. I didn't want to cause problems, but I saw several concerning things. Rosa was very interested in my in-laws' finances. She asked questions about their bank accounts, their insurance, and I personally witnessed her going through Mr. Patterson's desk when she thought no one was home. Did you confront her about this? The detective asked. No, I was afraid. She seemed unstable sometimes. I didn't want to set her off while she was caring for my mother-in-law. It was all lies, every word, but I didn't know that yet. There's more, Jennifer continued. I found this in the trash last week. She pulled out her phone and showed a photo. It was an empty medication bottle. Elizabeth's blood pressure pills. This bottle should have lasted another 2 weeks based on the dosage, Jennifer said. But it was empty. That means someone was giving Elizabeth too much. Way too much. Detective Morrison's expression grew more serious. Do you still have the actual bottle? No, the trash was picked up, but I have the photo. Did you see Rosa dispose of this bottle? Jennifer hesitated, then said, I saw her near the trash can. I didn't actually see her throw it away. But she was the only one who handled Mom's medications. I see. The detective looked at me. Mr. Patterson, I'm going to need to speak with Rosa Hernandez. Do you have her contact information? I gave it to her, my hands shaking. The next day, the police brought Rosa in for questioning. She called me from the station, frantic. Mr. Patterson, please. They think I hurt Mrs. Elizabeth. I would never. You know me. You know I loved her. Rosa, I need to understand what happened. Nothing happened. She passed peacefully. Mr. Patterson, please believe me. But I didn't. Jennifer's voice was in my head. All the evidence she'd pointed out. The money, the jewelry, the medications. The police searched Rosa's apartment. They didn't find Elizabeth's jewelry, but they found something else. $3,000 in cash in an envelope in her closet. When they asked her about it, she said it was her savings. Money she'd been setting aside for her daughter's quinceañera back in El Salvador, but she couldn't prove where it came from. No deposit slips, no withdrawal records, just cash. Jennifer jumped on this. Dad, that's probably your money. The money from your ATM. She can't explain where it came from because she stole it. The police also questioned Rosa about the medication bottle. She insisted she'd followed the prescription exactly, but she couldn't explain the empty bottle Jennifer had found. Someone must have made a mistake at the pharmacy, Rosa said. Or maybe Mrs. Elizabeth took extra pills on her own when I wasn't watching. She got confused sometimes. It sounded like an excuse. A weak excuse from someone trying to cover their guilt. Based on Jennifer's statement, the photo of the empty medication bottle, the unexplained cash, and the suspicious timing of Elizabeth's death, the police arrested Rosa. The charge was criminally negligent homicide. They believed she'd given Elizabeth an overdose of blood pressure medication, whether intentionally or through gross negligence. I remember watching them put handcuffs on her in front of her apartment building. Her daughter, a young woman about 20, was screaming, "Mama didn't do anything! Please!" Rosa just looked at me. Her eyes weren't angry. They were heartbroken. "Mr. Patterson," she said quietly, "I pray you find out the truth." Then they took her away. The funeral was 3 days later. It was small. Elizabeth's few remaining friends, some distant relatives, Marcus and Jennifer and the kids. Daniel couldn't fly back in time from Singapore. Jennifer held my hand through the entire service. "We're here for you, Dad," she whispered. "We're going to get through this together." After the funeral, People came back to my house. Jennifer organized everything. Food, drinks, greeting guests. She was being so helpful, so attentive. Marcus pulled me aside at one point. "Dad, I need to talk to you about something. Financial planning." "No? I know the timing is bad, but we need to think about your future. The life insurance payout, your savings. You should make sure everything is protected. Maybe set up a trust, make me the executor, just to keep everything safe." I was too grief-stricken to process what he was really saying. "Okay, son. Whatever you think is best." "Great. I'll draw up some papers." Everyone left by evening except Jennifer. She stayed to clean up. "You go rest, Dad," she said. "I'll take care of this." I went to my room, exhausted. From the hallway, I heard her on the phone. "It's done," she was saying quietly. "Everything's in motion. The police arrested her. Dad believes it, and Marcus is getting power of attorney this week." I froze. Who was she talking to? And why would Marcus need power of attorney? I crept closer to hear better. "The life insurance will pay out in 30 days, Jennifer continued. 500,000. Dad will sign it over to Marcus for safekeeping, and then She stopped abruptly. I heard footsteps. I quickly retreated to my room and pretended to be going to the bathroom. Jennifer appeared in the hallway, smiling. "Oh, Dad, I thought you were resting. Just needed to use the bathroom." "Okay, I'm almost done cleaning. I'll head out in a few minutes." After she left, I sat on my bed, my heart racing. Something was very wrong, but I was too clouded by grief and confusion to figure out what. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying things in my mind. Jennifer's strange phone conversation, her eagerness to have Marcus handle my finances, the way she'd been the one to find all the evidence against Rosa. At 3 a.m, I got up and went to Elizabeth's medication cabinet. I looked at all the bottles, the detailed schedule Rosa had kept. Everything seemed correct. Proper dosages, proper timing. I found the bottle of blood pressure medication. It was nearly full, but Jennifer said she'd found an empty one. How could there be 2 bottles? The next morning, Harold knocked on my door. Harold lived 2 houses down. He was a retired engineer, quiet, kept to himself mostly. We'd wave when we saw each other, but rarely had long conversations. He was holding a thumb drive. "Robert," he said, his face grave, "I need to show you something. I wasn't sure if I should get involved, but after I heard about Rosa getting arrested, I can't stay quiet." "What is it?" "Can I come in?" I let him inside. He sat at my kitchen table and pulled out his laptop. "You know I have a security camera system," he said. "I installed it a couple years ago after there were some break-ins in the neighborhood. One of my cameras faces the street, and it happens to catch your driveway and part of your front porch." I nodded. I'd seen the camera mounted on his garage. "I save all the footage to a hard drive," Harold continued. "Usually I delete it after a month, but I've been behind on maintenance. I still have footage going back 4 months. He plugged in the thumb drive and opened a file. "This is from the day your wife died, about 5:45 in the evening, 15 minutes before Rosa's shift usually ended. The video showed my driveway. Rosa's car was there. Then I saw Rosa come out my front door, waving goodbye. She got in her car and drove away at 5:52 p.m. "Okay," I said, not understanding why this mattered. "Now watch this." Harold fast-forwarded. At 6:37 p.m., Jennifer's SUV pulled into my driveway. She got out, looked around quickly, and went to my front door. She had a key, I knew that. She let herself in. The timestamp showed she was inside for 12 minutes. She came out at 6:49 p.m., carrying something small in her hand, got in her car, and left. This was about 2 hours before I found Elizabeth's body. "Why are you showing me this?" I asked, my voice shaking. "Keep watching." Harold skipped forward to the next morning, Saturday. The video showed Jennifer arriving at my house at 7:15 a.m., hours before she claimed to have come over after I called about Elizabeth's death. But I hadn't called her until 9. She let herself in with her key and was inside for 18 minutes. When she came out, she was carrying a small bag. "I have more," Harold said quietly, "from the previous weeks." He showed me footage from 2 weeks before Elizabeth died. Jennifer arriving at my house at 10 a.m. on a Wednesday. Rosa's car wasn't there. Rosa was out getting groceries like she did every Wednesday. Jennifer went inside and came out 17 minutes later. More footage from a month before. Jennifer arriving, going inside when no one else was home, leaving 20 minutes later. Harold, what are you saying? I'm saying your daughter-in-law had unsupervised access to your house many times, and I'm saying she was there the night your wife died, after Rosa had already left. My head was spinning, but Elizabeth died from Alzheimer's complications, the paramedic said. Did they do a full autopsy? I hadn't requested one. There was no reason to. I thought Elizabeth's death was natural. Robert, I think you need to see one more thing. Harold pulled up footage from 6 weeks before Elizabeth died. It showed Jennifer coming to my house in the middle of a Tuesday afternoon. She parked down the street instead of in my driveway. The camera barely caught her, but it was definitely her SUV. She approached my house from the side yard, looking around nervously, and entered through the back door. She was inside for 32 minutes. When she came out, she was carrying something that looked like a jewelry box. Oh my God, I whispered. I called the detective this morning, Harold said. Detective Morrison. I told her I had security footage she needed to see. She's on her way over now. I couldn't breathe. Jennifer took Elizabeth's jewelry. Jennifer took my money. Jennifer. The implication was too horrible to finish. Harold put his hand on my shoulder. I'm sorry, Robert. I'm so sorry. Detective Morrison arrived 30 minutes later. Harold showed her everything. She took the thumb drive and watched the footage twice, taking notes. Mr. Patterson, she said, I need to ask you some questions. Did you give Jennifer permission to enter your house when you weren't home? She had a key for emergencies, but I didn't know she was coming over when I wasn't here. Did you give her permission to take any of your wife's belongings? No. Did you authorize any ATM withdrawals for her? No. Detective Morrison made some phone calls. Then she looked at me seriously. Mr. Patterson, I'm going to need you to come to the station with me. We need an official statement, and I'm going to need to speak with your son and daughter-in-law immediately. At the police station, I gave a complete statement. I told them about the missing money, the missing jewelry, Jennifer's suspicions about Rosa that I now realized were planted to frame her. Did Jennifer have access to your ATM card? Detective Morrison asked. She knew where I kept my wallet. She was at the house all the time. Did she know your PIN? I thought about it. I might have mentioned it once. It's Elizabeth's birthday. Jennifer would have known that. They pulled ATM camera footage from the withdrawals. The person using my card was wearing a baseball cap and sunglasses, but the body type was consistent with Jennifer. The withdrawals happened at times when Jennifer was supposedly running errands. Then Detective Morrison asked the hardest question. Mr. Patterson, the night your wife died, you said you were alone with her from 6 p.m. until you found her deceased at 9 p.m.? Yes. You're certain no one else was in the house? I thought back. I was watching TV in the living room. Elizabeth was in her recliner in the same room. I didn't hear anyone come in. Is there any way someone could have entered without you hearing? A back door, maybe? My blood ran cold. The back door. We keep it unlocked during the day because Rosa uses it sometimes to take Elizabeth out to the garden. Did you lock it that evening? I couldn't remember. God help me, I couldn't remember. Harold's footage shows Jennifer entering your house at 6:37 and leaving at 6:49. That's during the window you were home. Is there any way she could have gotten in and out without you seeing her? I pictured the layout of my house. The living room faced the front. The back door led into the kitchen, which connected to a hallway. From the hallway, you could access the master bedroom where we kept all of Elizabeth's medications. If she came in the back door, I said slowly, and I was watching TV in the living room with the volume up. Yes, she could have gotten to the bedroom without me seeing her. What about your wife? Was she alert enough to notice? Tears filled my eyes. No, Elizabeth wasn't aware of anything by then. She wouldn't have noticed if a stranger walked right past her. Detective Morrison's face was grim. Mr. Patterson, I need to order an autopsy of your wife's body. Is that all right with you? Yes, I whispered. Yes. I need to know the truth. They exhumed Elizabeth's body 2 days later. The autopsy found lethal levels of her blood pressure medication in her system, more than triple the prescribed dose. The medical examiner's report was clear. Elizabeth had been given a massive overdose sometime in the hours before her death. It would have taken 30 to 60 minutes to kill her. Someone had intentionally or recklessly given her enough medication to stop her heart. Rosa had left at 5:52 p.m. I found Elizabeth dead at 9 p.m. But Jennifer had been in my house from 6:37 to 6:49 p.m. 12 minutes. Enough time to crush pills, mix them in water, and force-feed them to a confused, helpless woman who couldn't resist. The police arrested Jennifer that afternoon. They arrested Marcus, too, on conspiracy charges. The investigation revealed they were both drowning in debt. Marcus had lost his biggest client and was about to be fired. They owed over $300,000 on credit cards, car loans, and their mortgage. They'd planned to murder Elizabeth and frame Rosa, then manipulate me into signing over the life insurance money to Marcus for safekeeping. After that, I don't know what they intended. Maybe to push me into a nursing home and drain my accounts. Maybe worse. Jennifer had been stealing from me for months. The ATM withdrawals, the jewelry she'd sold online, even some of Elizabeth's prescription medications that she'd sold to an acquaintance. The $3,000 in Rosa's apartment, that was her actual savings. Jennifer had planted the empty medication bottle in the trash for me to find, creating evidence. The worst part was the night Elizabeth died. Security footage from a neighbor across the street, once police knew to look, showed Jennifer's SUV parked a block away at 6:30 p.m. She'd walked to my house, let herself in the back door while I was watching TV in the front room, gone to Elizabeth's medication cabinet, prepared a lethal dose, and fed it to my wife. Elizabeth would have been confused, compliant. She wouldn't have understood what was happening. Jennifer gave her the overdose and left. By the time I checked on Elizabeth 3 hours later, she was already dead. I had to live with what I'd done to Rosa. She spent 4 days in jail before the charges were dropped. 4 days of hell, separated from her daughter, her reputation destroyed, her livelihood gone. The nursing agency fired her immediately. Other families she'd worked for saw the news and believed she was a murderer. When she was released, I went to see her. She was staying with her daughter in a small apartment. "Rosa," I said, standing at her door, unable to meet her eyes. "I don't know how to apologize for what I've done to you." She looked at me for a long moment. "You believed family over me. I understand that. I should have trusted you. You gave me no reason not to trust you. You were nothing but kind and professional and loving to Elizabeth, and I threw you away the moment someone planted doubt in my mind." Tears ran down my face. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I destroyed your life because I was weak and stupid and grief-stricken, and I let Jennifer manipulate me." Rosa was quiet. Then she said, "Mrs. Elizabeth loved you very much. She told me that in her clear moments, she would want you to forgive yourself." "I can't." "Then do something with your guilt. Something good." I didn't know what she meant at first, but over the following weeks, it became clear. Rosa couldn't find work. Every agency she applied to saw the arrest on her record, even though the charges were dropped. Families Googled her name and found news articles about the accusation. Her reputation was destroyed. Her daughter's quinceañera had to be canceled. The $3,000 in savings was used for lawyers and bills during the 4 days Rosa couldn't work. I sold my house. I couldn't live there anymore, in the place where Elizabeth died, where I'd let Jennifer poison her while I sat 15 feet away watching television. The house sold for $750,000. I took that money, plus the $500,000 from Elizabeth's life insurance, and I did something with it. First, I gave $200,000 directly to Rosa. Cash. No strings attached. It wasn't enough. It would never be enough. But it was something. "Mr. Patterson, I can't accept this," she said. "You can and you will. You lost your career, your reputation, 4 days of your freedom, and your peace of mind because of me. This doesn't make it right, but it's a start." I also hired a lawyer to help her get the arrest expunged from her record and to work on restoring her professional reputation. I personally called every nursing agency in Southern California and explained what really happened. Some listened, some didn't. Eventually, Rosa found work with a family who believed in her. But the trauma of what happened never fully left her eyes. With the remaining money, I established the Elizabeth Patterson Foundation for Caregiver Support and Protection. The foundation does three things. First, it provides legal assistance for home health aides who are falsely accused of wrongdoing by their clients' families. Rosa wasn't the only one this has happened to. I learned caregivers are often scapegoated when elderly people die or when families want to cover up their own abuse or death. Second, it funds background check and security camera systems for homes with caregivers, protecting both the elderly clients and the workers. If Harold hadn't had his camera system, Jennifer would have gotten away with murder, and Rosa would still be in jail. Third, it offers scholarships for caregivers pursuing additional education and certification. Rosa's daughter received the first scholarship. She's studying nursing. I couldn't give Elizabeth justice. She was gone, killed by the woman our son married, while I sat oblivious in the next room. But I could try to prevent it from happening to someone else. Marcus and Jennifer were both convicted. Jennifer got 25 years to life for second-degree murder. Marcus got 15 years for conspiracy and accessory after the fact. The evidence showed he knew about Jennifer's plan but didn't stop it and actively helped cover it up afterward. I testified at their trial. Marcus wouldn't look at me. Jennifer glared at me with pure hatred, like I was the one who wronged her. "You were supposed to be on our side," she hissed at me in the courtroom. "We're family. You killed my wife," I said quietly. "You murdered Elizabeth to steal money. Then you framed an innocent woman. You're not family. You're a monster." My son Daniel came back from Singapore for the trial. He sat with me in the courtroom every day. He was the only family I had left. "Dad," he said one day, "I'm so sorry. I should have been here more. I should have paid attention. You were living your life. You had no way to know. Still, you shouldn't have been alone through this." Daniel took a leave of absence from his job and stayed with me for 3 months. He helped me through the worst of it, the nightmare, the guilt, the grief that kept washing over me in waves. He also helped me sort through Elizabeth's belongings, packing up 42 years of marriage. We found letters she'd written to me in the early days, before email. We found photos of our sons as children, before Marcus chose money over decency. "He used to be a good kid," I told Daniel. "Your brother. He really was." "I know, Dad, but people change, sometimes for the worse." One day, Daniel and I went through Elizabeth's jewelry box, the one Jennifer had stolen from, and then returned after the police found it in her house. Most of the valuable pieces were gone, sold. But Elizabeth's wedding ring was there, the simple gold band I'd given her when we had nothing but love and hope. I held it in my hand and cried. "She deserved so much better than this," I said. "She deserved to die peacefully, surrounded by people who loved her, not murdered for insurance money." "She had you," Daniel said. "For 42 years, she had you. That counts for something." I visit Elizabeth's grave every Sunday. I tell her about the foundation, about Rosa's daughter going to nursing school, about the caregivers we've helped. I tell her I'm sorry. Sorry I failed to protect her. Sorry I trusted the wrong people. Sorry I didn't see what was happening until it was too late. Sometimes Rosa comes with me. She brings flowers and stands quietly while I talk to Elizabeth's headstone. "Mrs. Elizabeth," Rosa says, "your husband is doing good work. You would be proud. I don't know if I believe in an afterlife, but I hope if there is one, Elizabeth can see that I'm trying to make something meaningful out of the tragedy. I'm trying to protect other caregivers like Rosa. I'm trying to prevent other families from being torn apart by greed." Last month, the foundation helped a caregiver in San Diego who was accused of stealing from her elderly client. Security camera footage we helped install proved the client's grandson was the actual thief. The caregiver kept her job. The grandson went to jail. One case at a time. One caregiver protected. One elderly person kept safe from family members who see them as nothing but a bank account to be drained. It doesn't bring Elizabeth back. It doesn't erase my guilt for believing Jennifer's lies and destroying Rosa's life, even temporarily. It doesn't give me back my son, who chose to help murder his own mother. But it's something. It's all I have left to give. I'm 73 years old. I live alone now in a small condo. Daniel visits when he can. Rosa calls sometimes to check on me, which is more kindness than I deserve. Every night before I sleep, I think about that moment when I believed Jennifer. When I looked at Rosa with suspicion instead of trust. When I called the police and set in motion the destruction of an innocent woman's life. I think about the 12 minutes Jennifer spent in my house that night. 12 minutes to murder my wife while I sat 20 feet away, oblivious. I think about how much I failed Elizabeth. How I let her killer manipulate me. How I became a weapon Jennifer used to destroy Rosa's life. And I think about Harold, the quiet neighbor who saved Rosa from prison and gave me the truth, even though the truth destroyed what little family I had left. I trusted the wrong person. I believed family over evidence, love over logic, and it cost Elizabeth her life. That's something I'll carry until the day I die. But until then, I'll keep working. Keep protecting caregivers. Keep Elizabeth's memory alive through something good. It's the only redemption I'll ever find. And maybe, if there is a heaven, when I finally see Elizabeth again, I can tell her I spent my remaining years trying to make up for my failure, trying to protect others the way I failed to protect her. Maybe that will be enough. Maybe.